Hey everyone, Ryan with Prima here, and today we're comparing Technivorm brewers. Over the decades, Technivorm has built a reputation for dependability, quality, and honestly, just great coffee. These brewers are known to last decades, and that's because these are handmade in the Netherlands. They come with a 5-year product warranty and a lifetime guarantee of parts availability. So anytime down the line that something does go wrong in your Technivorm brewer, they have those parts available for you for purchase. So if you want kind of a one and done brewer for the rest of your life, that could be the Technivorm. So today I am going to go over Prima's 4 models. We've handpicked these from Technivorm's catalog because we think these are the best pick. So first we're going to go over the Cup-One, then we have the KB, the KBT, and finally the KBGV. Okay, let's do these one at a time. First up, the Cup-One. If you're looking to just brew 10 ounces or less for yourself, this might be the brewer for you. It is exceedingly simple, literally just an on-off button that activates the heating element and the thermosiphon to begin pumping that water up through the tube and through this tiny basket, which uses a Melita #1 filter. One of the great things about Technivorm in general is the filters are available at any grocery store. These aren't proprietary filters that you need to order online, so you can pick them up on a normal grocery shopping trip and they're really cheap. Other than that, this doesn't come with a carafe. You need to use your own mug, so anything that holds 10 ounces or less will work. Just pop it right in, stick in your cone, hit the button to start, and you're good to go. This runs around $250. Next, we've got the Technivorm KB. Now this is a glass carafe brewer with a 40-ounce capacity. 40 ounces is pretty much the common size you'll see in other Technivorms and even other brands out there. And there's a few things that make this brewer unique. First of all, you still have that on-off switch that activates the brew, but next to that is a selection for a temperature setting for the heating element underneath the glass carafe. If you brew a full pot, you can select a higher temperature to keep that coffee warmer. If you brew a half pot or less, there's a lower temperature setting, which just applies less heat to that coffee and honestly ruins it at a slower rate, right? So there's no need to heat a small amount of coffee super hot, and that's a really thoughtful feature that Technivorm has introduced here. Okay, other than that, we have the same, thermosiphoning design where it's heating water and forcing it up through the tube and through this really simple shower head. This basket holds a Melita #4 filter, another common filter you can find just about anywhere. One thing that makes this unique is the flow selector here on the side. So you have the option of completely shutting off flow, save for like pre-infusion, if you want to create an immersion, right, where the water and coffee are just sitting in contact with each other without any percolation happening. You can extend out a brew time for, pre-ground coffee you've ground to coarse. There's also a halfway setting, so you can slow down flow but keep it moving. And then of course, the full setting. So some interesting options there to kind of customize your extraction. All right, that's the KB. This one runs $329. Next up, we've got the Technivorm KBT. Now that T stands for thermal, and instead of that glass carafe, we have a thermal carafe here. So there's no heating plate, there's no temperature selection to set half or full power for that heating plate. It's just a simple on-off switch, brews into this really nice quality 10-cup carafe, okay? Other than that, we still have the flow selection, just like we do on the KB model, so you can turn it off, halfway or full. The only other difference I think is worth mentioning in this model is the height is different. It measures just about 15.5 inches. So it's a consideration if you're keeping this brewer underneath a cabinet or something. You can't really, lift this up straight and dump water into it. You would have to pull this out and to fill it up with water. So just a small consideration there. Again, this model runs about $329. And last but certainly not least, we have the Technivorm KBGV. This is the most expensive Technivorm model in our catalog because it has 1 or 2 additional features that are pretty interesting, okay? At first glance, this looks pretty much like the KB. You've got that glass carafe, You have that heating element that keeps coffee hot, and you also have that temperature selection that we talked about for half and full pots. In addition to adjusting that temperature of the plate, this switch also adjusts the flow rate of the brew. If you're brewing a half pot or less, this will decrease the flow rate to be slower and extend out the brew time and decrease the overall agitation being applied to your grounds. And likewise, if you select the full pot setting, it's going to increase the flow rate to brew faster and sort of increase the agitation. And that's exactly the way that we brew manually with pour over, right? The larger the brew, the faster we have to pour. So that's some real thoughtfulness put into this by Technivorm that we appreciate. So because that flow control is there in the button on the side, it does not exist in the cone. Instead, what is in this cone is a automated little valve that closes it when you lift it up, so there's no dripping. So it's essentially the same as the other drippers in the sense that you can close the valve manually with those to stop the flow when you remove it, but this one does it automatically, so you don't have to think about it, which is pretty cool. So other than that, this is really the same as the last two models we just went over, with a 40-ounce or 10-cup capacity, that simple thermosiphoning technology and on-off operation. You don't need to hit two switches if you don't want to. All you need to do is turn it on and it's gonna brew automatically. All right, that's the KBGV. This one runs $360. So that wraps up our comparison of the Technivorm models available at Prima. Check them out at primacoffee.com. Thanks for watching.